Well, g'day everyone. Recently I showed you a video with a gimbal that Feiyutech sent me. It's called the SCORP Mini. And in that previous video, it actually showed how to balance it and things like that and what was in the box. Today I wanted to take you through actually a little bit about how you use it. And I was also going to show you some footage that I shot with the iPhone in a beautiful location called Lavandula, so you can have a look at what sort of footage you can get using this gimbal. So what I'll do is I'll show you the gimbal itself. Now at the moment it's turned off, but I'll just switch it on for you. Okay, now it's switched on. I have got the handle down here screwed in. You could take that off if you wanted to have it even smaller, if you wanted to go that way. Just to take you through how this works, there is a screen at the back which you can do basically every single thing that you wanted to do through there, like balancing your camera, the automatic balancing. You can change between all of your modes, pan, tilt, etc. You can even change the motor strength. There's everything that you can do through this, and it's very, very nice to just swipe across to get what you want to actually get to. You can also do it through the phone app as well. There is a phone app, but that's great. You've got your joystick, which you can move through here. So that's simply how you move this around. If I wanted to move it into a position like that and get it back quickly, there is a joystick button at the front here. If I double click that, it will then go back to its default position. So it's great, for instance, if you wanted to, say, move it around. And there's another great feature about this too. You can just move this and it will lock like that. So if you were after a quick position, you can just move it into that spot and it will hold there. If you triple click, it will do selfie mode. So then you could just use it as a camera facing you. You do have to be a little bit careful though, because if you had a wide angle lens here, it may show this handle. So you would have to be careful about what type of lens you use with this. Again, if you triple click, it will go back to the point where it was at the beginning, its default position. So that's really terrific. On the side here, this is your power button. That's what turns it on and off. And then on the other side, so this little button here is how you get between your different modes. So each time you click it, it will be a different mode. You'll see here at the moment it's looking at your pan. And if I go through like this, you'll see tilt and roll, etc. coming through. So it just depends on what you want to use. The other thing too is you can use this with the autofocus. So if you did have the autofocus module, this would work with getting focus onto your camera as well. There is a button on this side here as well, which is FPV. That will change the modes on the back. If you notice, if we look at the modes on the back, you'll see here, if I click on it, it will go through all the modes. You'll see that in the bottom corner of the screen there. So that's another way that you can quickly get through the modes as well. So there's multiple ways that you can actually control this as well. On the front here, if you connect this with a cable to the camera, you can go record. So it will record your footage. So you just press that to record. You can also change your modes through this as well. And like I said, you also have your joystick as well. The F2 button, which is on the side here, that will lock that back screen. So if I press it once, it will lock it. If I press it again, it will unlock it. That can just stop you from accidentally touching the controls and changing it that way as well. So, you know, it's terrific. I love the way that this feels, because not only can you just be using it like this, but also if you wanted to go down this way and use it for underslung, etc., it's great because you've got that top handle that you can use at the same time too. So it's so nice to use with a camera like this size. Build quality is okay. I mean, look, it is sort of plastic when you're feeling it, so it's not metal, but you would expect that for this price range. But the plastic feels like it's nice quality. Obviously, the gimbal part up here is feels like metal. It's only this part down here that is all plastic. What we'll do now is we'll go and have a look at the website, and I'll just take you through some of the things that this does and show you the specs and things like that, just so that you can get an idea about what weight this will take and things like that. So we'll do that now. This is the Feiyutech.com site. I'll leave the links for these down below so you can get an idea about it as well. There's also a video that you can watch if you wanted to look at that. Again, this gives you a good idea about the gimbal itself, how it works. When, you know, if you look at it, you can get an idea about the design and how this all works. One of the great aspects about this camera is you can use it with a mobile phone and also a gimbal. Now, you might say, why do you need to put it on a gimbal with some of these devices? Well, look, you can get great footage, particularly, say, with the new iPhone and the GoPro, say, a Hero 11, but it's hard sometimes to get really nice pans and really nice footage depending on what you're doing, particularly with the iPhone. The new iPhone 14 is great. I've got one. If you are using other lenses, like the longer lenses and things like that, or you're doing really quite extreme stuff, it doesn't really stabilize it as well as what it would on a gimbal. Plus, I like to be able to have that ability to use a pan, a nice sort of smooth pan and tilt and things like that, which is nice. The other thing too is if you put it connect it to the app, well, then you can do things like time lapses and all these other things that you can do as well. But you can see here that it will hold a digital SLR camera, a mirrorless type camera, although you're limited by the weight, obviously, with the lens and the camera. You can also have your phone and you can go in portrait mode or landscape mode. So if you did want to, say, shoot for things like Instagram and stuff like that, you could do it. It just depends on which way you mount it like that as well. Also see it's very, very good for these small mirrorless cameras as well. You can also see here that if you're using the larger lenses, it's better to use the mount that comes with it to sort of support the lens from the front. So that's also important, particularly if you're dealing with weight on these, because if you don't balance this well with your mirrorless cameras and lenses, you can get vibrations. So it's pretty important to balance it very, very well. This is showing how you can use it in this portrait mode, which is great for things like Instagram and stuff like that. And it says that it's also ideal for professional TikTok video creation, etc., object tracking and zoom shooting, etc. I know there's an attachment that you can get, and I'll talk about this a little bit later, where it will track the subject. With the interface, you can see how nice the actual interface is. Very, very easy to use and very, very clean and a nice design. I think it's one of the nicest ones I've seen, actually. Fast and easy to install. I did do a video about this, so if you check the previous video that I did on this, it will show you how I balance it and put it all together. Just to show you some of the accessories on this, this is your focus motor that you can get. I really do like using those, actually. I'm hoping I can get one because it really is nice to be able to manually focus. There's extension rods, monopods and things like that that you can attach to it. There's this smartphone portrait plate. So that's an extra that you can get if you want to use a portrait type shooting. You just get the landscape one in the package that you get. There's also this magnetic fill light you get, and this is the tracking module that's going to be available as well. So you'll be able to track the subject and it'll follow them without you having to move the gimbal. So the battery capacity is 2,500 mAh. It's built in and you charge it by USB-C. Battery life is 13 hours, so you do get all day usage out of this if you want to. The charging time is about 1.6 hours. That's using an 18-watt fast charger. So the charge time is pretty good. The main body is synthetic resin and aluminium alloy, and the weight of it is 787 grams, or it's 1.735 pounds. So it's really nice and light. That's terrific. The payload is around 1,200 grams, which is 2.65 pounds. So look, it's not for big cameras with big lenses. Even something like an A6 500 that I've got here, if you use a larger lens on it, it struggles with the balance. You do have to balance it very, very well. And like I said, use that lens mount on the front if you want to make it so you won't get vibrations. So you've just got to be careful about that. So what we'll do now is I'll take it out and have a shoot with it. I'll use it in this, like I said, I'm going to this lovely location called Lavandula, and you can have a look at the footage of it. Now, I thought that I'd use the iPhone for this test, just to see what it was like with the iPhone, sort of see what footage I could get with it. Now, it was with the iPhone 13, so it wasn't with the 14 that has the much better stabilization. So I just thought I'd show it with that, and so we'll look at that now. what do I think about it? Look, I really like it actually. In fact, I think I'm going to use it on a wedding this weekend with the A6500 on it because I'm doing a photography videography wedding. So this is going to be great because it's so small and lightweight. So I'm going to give it a go on that. I've already tried it enough now so I know what it's sort of capable of doing. And I know it will last all day. I'll probably take another gimbal. I have other Feiyutech gimbals, for instance, that I can take just in case. But I want to give it a go to see what it produces with that regard. Build quality, like I said, could be better because it is plastic, but you wouldn't expect much better than this for the price that you're paying for this. I think overall, it's really nice. And it is great to hold due to the lightweight. Apart from that, if you have any questions, leave them down below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much, Feiyutech, for sending me this, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.